In today's video, we're going to check out 4 cases for the newly released Samsung S23 FE. Right, let's check out our first one. Now, the first case we're going to take a look at is from Nillkin, and it's their Super Frosted Shield Pro case. Now, as soon as you get it out of the box, you can tell this is a pretty rugged case. Honestly, it doesn't really flex that much and has this sort of hard plastic back with then a soft gel side. Overall, it feels fairly nice and definitely a good quality. So putting the case on our S23 FE dummy, we can tell it fits absolutely perfectly. Honestly, it does feel like a genuine official case from Samsung because it just fits like a glove. You can see the tolerances are fairly tight around the camera, so there's not going to be any dirt and debris getting caught in between the case and the camera lens. You've got a small Nillkin logo down at the bottom here, so you're not sort of advertising the brand rather than just having a nice case. And then they've got other nice features like on the sides of the device, you've got this nice grippy texture as well. On the back as well, you've got this sort of dotted texture, which feels fairly rough to the touch, but it's nice. The only concern for me is that after a while you might get dirt and other things sort of stuck in between the dots, but as it's new at the moment, it looks fairly nice. Looking at the buttons on the case, you've got slits either side of them, so they're nice and clicky. In terms of drop protection, you have a little bit more material on each of the 4 corners, so it should add some protection there. And as mentioned before, it's a fairly rigid case, so it adds a good amount of protection. The Nillkin comes in at $19.99, and to be quite honest, it seems quite good value. The next case is from a company called Zizo, and you may not have heard of this before. However, Zizo are actually a sub-brand of Spigen. As soon as you get the case out of the box, you'll notice that it's, again, a hard plastic back with then some soft TPU edges. Also in the box came this sort of lanyard strap, which is in a nice beige. Now, the case itself fits nicely over the foam and has this sort of floral pattern on the back. Overall, it feels quite nice in the hands, and it also has these sort of bumps on each of the 4 corners. Overall, this should add a good amount of protection to the phone, and I think it looks really nice, especially because we've got the purple S23 FE here. I think the floral pattern really matches with it. One part where I think they could improve the protection is around the cameras and flash. As you can see, there's just one large cutout to include the flash. However, I think this would have been better as a separate cutout, so it's not just one large opening. This means that more dirt and debris can sort of get in and damage the phone here. Looking at the buttons on the case, I can say they're nice and flexible thanks to the slits either side, so again, no problems here. Overall, this is just a very nice, stylish case for the S23 FE, and will add a good amount of protection thanks to the extra material in all 4 corners. Now, as this case comes in at $24.99, I have to say it's probably a little bit on the expensive side. However, the quality is good. So I don't think $24.99 is too much of a stretch. Let's move on to our next case from Zizo. This is the Zizo Revolve series. Now, getting the case out of the box, the first thing I noticed is it just doesn't look like the photo on the front. As you can see, the photo on the front shows a sort of lilac case, whereas the one in the box is sort of a purpley blue. Thankfully, if you did get the S23 FE in purple, it does nicely complement the colour. Now, the first thing I noticed getting this case out compared to the other 2 is it's just a lot more flexible and feels a little bit cheaper in the hands. And at $19.99, it's not exactly an expensive case, but it's also not a cheap one. Now, to be honest, it doesn't feel like you've got a £3 case from Wish, but it just feels a little bit cheaper than the other 2. Now, popping the case on the device, the first thing I noticed is that the case sort of bows out from the front screen a little bit at the top and this side. I don't know whether we just got sort of a faulty one, but it is something I thought I'd mention. This could also be because we're using a dummy here. However, the other 2 cases that we tried today fit perfectly fine. Now, around back, you'll notice this ring. This is the first case that has like a dual functionality. So this ring easily pops out and then you can slide your finger through it. This ring also rotates on the back, so you can easily stand the phone up when you put it in landscape mode, it does actually lie it down at quite an angle. So say if you were on a train, you would probably still get some glare from the lights. The ring itself does feel quite robust and it doesn't feel like it's going to fall off the case. However, it also doesn't snap into place. So as I say, it's not going to lock into position. Now, unlike the previous case, there is a smaller cutout for the camera lenses and flash, so it does do a better job of protecting this area of the phone. Around the sides of the phone, there is just a nice smooth material, which does feel quite nice in the hands. However, it's definitely probably one of the most slippy cases we've had today. Thankfully, there is a lanyard or wrist strap port here, so you can easily add one of them. However, one is not included in the box like the previous case. The buttons on the phone are fairly flexible. However, as there's only one slit, they do feel a little bit more muted than the other two cases we've had so far. Now, before I unboxed this case, I thought I would love it. However, I'm not the biggest fan. The next case is another Zizo case, and it's from their Transform series. Thankfully, this case does actually match the pictures on the box, so we're already off to a better start. It's definitely more premium than the previous case that we saw from Zizo, and I'm happy to say it fits a lot better too. As you can see, there's a uniform edge all around the front of the screen, so even though you can see some silver, it's not from bowing of the case. The whole case does feel a lot thicker than all of the cases we've had today, but it's probably going to be the best at protecting your phone as well. The case itself has this sort of hard plastic back, and then this sort of TPU inner layer as well. Now on the back, you'll have noticed this metal stand. Thankfully, this will actually hold your phone at a comfortable angle for you to catch up with content on. The stand sort of semi-locks in place. You can sort of hear a click as it gets to the end. It doesn't lock into place enough to hold your phone up in portrait mode. Just like the last case, there is a nice tight camera cutout for the flash and camera lenses, so there's good protection here. Then there's also a nice lip around the screen as well to give the screen some good protection. Around the sides, there's no extra grip. However, there is a lanyard or wrist strap hole, and the buttons as well are nice and clicky. Now, it's worth noting that at just $24.99, this is only £5 more than the previous Zizo case we looked at. And in my eyes, this is a much better case. There we go, 4 unique cases for the S23 FE. Personally, I think my favorite has to be this Nillkin. It feels really nice on the phone and honestly fits like a glove. If you'd like to purchase any of these, check out the links in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this video, remember to drop us a like and subscribe as well.